Now to other stories, African leaders have been charged to increase investments into the continent's agriculture value chain if they want to be food secure. This is a call by the Executive Secretary of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, who spoke to JoyNews at a parade to commemorate this year's AU Day in Accra.
Across the African continent, there are arable lands everywhere, lands that will support just about anything planted on them. But its agricultural output is simply an understatement due to several factors, with the topmost being non-planning. At a parade, a senior high school student, Jeffrey Yeboah Amachi, blamed Africa's leaders for the poor planning towards agriculture as the reason why the continent is where it is.
In some countries that I've heard about, that there is hunger strike there, it's because the youth or the leaders didn't plan well. And now we are here now because of their unplanned agenda they began. But for now, if we want to think about the future, we need to sit down, plan everything. In terms of food, we need to grow more crops, more plants, more stuffs. We need to sit down, project it to a maximum years, about 100 years, what we need to do. At the moment, that's what we need to do.
The Executive Secretary for the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, and also a member of the Chamber of Agribusiness, Nlaliban Wujangi, in an exclusive interview with JoyNews on the theme for this year's AU Day, strengthening resilience in nutrition and food security on the African continent, said one of the problems confronting Africa is the over-reliance on importation.
Presently, in terms of food security, we are not self-sufficient, if I put it that way. Reason being that we are still import reliant. When you look at our import bill, a lot of our imports, even including some of the staples like maize, soya and all the others, are still being imported by a lot of African countries. So in a general terms, I would say that we haven't reached that stage of being able to meet the SDG goal 2, where we have to look at the issues of food security. And you know, issues of food security now become also an issue of national security. Because once someone is hungry, he'll definitely want to find a way to be able to take care of himself. And as a result of that, that's why now when we talk about food security, we also add the aspect of national security as well. So in general terms, we haven't reached that level of being food secure as a continent, yes.
To him, for Africa to overcome food shortage on the continent, African leaders must improve investment into agricultural value chain. He advised that African leaders must focus on what the people want rather than honoring desires of donors if the continent wants to be food secure.
So we have had several declarations. I am not too sure if it's a Malabo declaration that requires that at least 2% or so of our revenue should be invested into agriculture. Unfortunately, that's not happening. And like I mentioned earlier on, we are so donor dependent. So even our budgets are based on donor funding. So if someone is going to donate money to you, then you definitely know he's definitely in for something. So Africa, it's about time, especially now that we are focusing a lot on food security, we should be able to start working on and improving the level of investment. The African Development Bank, I know, is doing a lot. IFAD is doing something. IFPRI is doing something. I know a lot of research organizations as well are trying to link up with industry. But I think that governments who are supposed to provide an enabling environment should be able to invest a lot more into the agricultural system. And you know, the production system is in various, the value chains are varied in various countries as well. So it's very, very important that we look at the various value chains where we have comparative advantage, especially now that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is in place. It's important that we look at our comparative advantage.